Baghdad, How the World's Greatest City Fell in 7 Days. One hook and intro. Imagine a city so brilliant, so breathtakingly advanced that it was truly the center of the known world. A place where the greatest minds converged, where mountains of knowledge were translated, preserved, and expanded. A city that pulsed with life, innovation, and unparalleled luxury, its very name a synonym for wonder and wisdom. Baghdad. For centuries, this jewel of the Abbasid Caliphate shone brighter than any other, a beacon in the Islamic Golden Age. Scholars from across the globe flocked to its libraries, merchants traded goods from China to the Mediterranean, and its caliphs presided over an empire of unparalleled sophistication. But then the unthinkable happened. A storm from the east, a tide of destruction unlike anything the world had ever seen, swept across Asia. And in 1258, this invincible force, the Mongol Horde, turned its gaze upon Baghdad. What followed was a cataclysm that changed the course of history, not just for the Middle East, but for the entire world. In a mere 7 days, a millennium of accumulated knowledge and cultural splendor was annihilated. Its libraries burned, its people massacred, and its river, the mighty Tigris, said to run black with ink and red with blood. This is the story of Baghdad, a city that soared to unimaginable heights, suffered an almost unimaginable fall, and yet, through centuries of conflict and rebuilding, refused to be erased. It's a journey through human ambition, intellectual brilliance, and the brutal fragility of civilization. Today, the modern city of Baghdad stands, a testament to resilience, a palimpsest of history where layers of glory and tragedy are etched into its very foundations. You can walk its streets, visit its markets, and if you know where to look, you can still hear the whispers of its past. This video isn't just about ancient history. It's about understanding how a single city built from nothing became a global powerhouse, and how its destruction sent ripples through time that are still felt today. It's about recognizing the enduring human spirit that rebuilds, recreates, and remembers, even after the greatest losses. Join us as we uncover the epic saga of Baghdad, from its majestic golden age to its devastating collapse, and explore the echoes of its past in the vibrant, complex city it is today. You'll discover how the greatest library in the world vanished, how innovations that shaped our modern lives originated here, and what it truly means for a city to rise from the ashes again and again. So prepare to travel back in time, to imagine the unimaginable, and to see Baghdad not just as a name on a map, but as a living, breathing testament to the human story. 2. Historical context and setup. Our story begins not with a whimper, but with a revolution. By the middle of the 8th century CE, the vast Islamic Caliphate stretched from Spain to Central Asia. But the ruling Umayyad dynasty, centered in Damascus, had grown deeply unpopular. Their Arab-centric policies alienated a huge portion of their subjects, especially the Persians and other non-Arab Muslims known as Mawali. Discontent simmered, then boiled over. In 750 CE, the Abbasid Revolution erupted, sweeping away the Umayyads and installing a new dynasty, the Abbasids. This wasn't just a change of rulers. It was a fundamental shift, moving the heart of the empire eastward, embracing a more universal, multicultural Islamic identity, heavily influenced by Persian culture. The new caliph Al-Mansur understood that a new era required a new capital. Damascus was tainted by the Umayyads. He needed a fresh start, a symbol of Abbasid power and legitimacy. After much deliberation and consulting with astrologers and Persian administrative experts like Khalid ibn Barmak, he chose a site on the west bank of the Tigris River, strategically positioned between the Tigris and Euphrates. The year was 762 CE, and the dream of Baghdad was born. Al-Mansur wasn't just building a city, he was designing a statement. The new capital would not be sprawling and organic like older cities. Instead, it was meticulously planned as a perfect circle, nearly 2 miles in diameter. This was the round city, Al-Madinah al-Mudawwara, a marvel of urban planning symbolizing cosmic order and the centrality of the caliph. Double walls, massive and imposing, protected it. Four great gates, each pointing to a different corner of the empire, controlled entry and exit. At its very heart lay the caliph's golden palace, radiating power and splendor beside the great mosque. This was a city built by thousands, funded by the vast wealth of the empire. Brick by brick, stone by stone, Baghdad rose from the Mesopotamian plains, destined for greatness. It quickly became the administrative and political heart of the Abbasid Caliphate, a magnet for talent, trade, and intellectual pursuit. The Tigris, the lifeblood of Mesopotamia, provided not only water but a crucial artery for commerce, linking Baghdad to the Persian Gulf and beyond. Within a century, Baghdad exploded in size and influence. Its population swelled into the millions, making it one of the largest, if not the largest, cities in the world. Its fame grew not just for its wealth and political power, but for something far more enduring, its insatiable thirst for knowledge. This was the dawn of the Islamic Golden Age, and Baghdad was its undisputed sun. The caliphs, particularly Harun al-Rashid and his son al-Mamun, actively patronized scholars, scientists, and artists. They believed that knowledge was power, and that wisdom was a divine gift to be sought out and cultivated. This era saw an unprecedented translation movement, a systematic effort to gather and translate every known text from ancient Greece, Persia, India, and other civilizations into Arabic. The jewel in Baghdad's intellectual crown was the Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. More than just a library, it was an academy, an observatory, a translation bureau, and a research institution all rolled into one. Here, Christian, Jewish, and Muslim scholars worked side by side, driven by a common passion to understand the world. They preserved vast amounts of classical knowledge that might otherwise have been lost, laying the groundwork for future scientific and philosophical breakthroughs. This cultural synthesis, this vibrant cosmopolitanism, was Baghdad's defining characteristic. Its markets buzzed with goods and languages from every corner of the earth. Its streets teemed with poets, physicians, astronomers, and philosophers. It was a place where ideas were exchanged as freely as spices, a melting pot of cultures that produced an intellectual ferment unlike any other. Baghdad wasn't just a city, it was an entire civilization contained within walls. At 3, the story unfolds. By the 9th and 10th centuries, Baghdad's golden age was in full bloom. Al-Khwarizmi, a brilliant mathematician working in Baghdad, pioneered algebra, a term derived from his book title. His work on algorithms laid the foundation for modern computing. Physicians like Ibn Sina, whose comprehensive medical encyclopedia, The Canon of Medicine, was a standard text for centuries, revolutionized healthcare. Astronomers meticulously mapped the stars, improving navigation and understanding of the cosmos, building observatories that were state-of-the-art for their time. Baghdad scholars were not content merely to translate, they innovated. They refined the astrolabe, developed sophisticated water clocks, and advanced optics, chemistry, and engineering. Its hospitals, known as Bimaristans, were far more advanced than anything in Europe, offering free healthcare and meticulous record-keeping. The city was adorned with bejeweled mosques, bathhouses, and bazaars, many of which became legendary through tales like 1001 Nights, capturing the imagination of the world and cementing Baghdad's image as a place of exotic wonder. Life in Baghdad during this period was extraordinarily vibrant. The city's social structure, while hierarchical, offered avenues for mobility, especially for those with intellectual or administrative skills. The caliph and his court lived in lavish palaces, but scholars and merchants also held respected positions. Bustling public baths, grand mosques that served as centers of learning, and lively marketplaces were central to daily life. It was a metropolis of unparalleled dynamism and cultural richness. But even the mightiest empires contain the seeds of their own decline. From the 10th century onwards, the Abbasid Caliphate's political power began to wane. Provincial governors and military commanders gained increasing autonomy, creating regional dynasties that challenged Baghdad's central authority. The Buyids, a Persian dynasty, effectively controlled Baghdad from 945 CE, and later the Seljuk Turks exerted significant influence. While Baghdad often remained the nominal spiritual center, its political grip loosened, making it vulnerable. By the mid-13th century, a far greater threat emerged from the east, the Mongol Empire. Under the brilliant and brutal leadership of Genghis Khan, and later his grandson Hulagu Khan, Hulagu Khan, the Mongols had forged an empire stretching from the Pacific to Eastern Europe, conquering everything in their path with terrifying efficiency. Their tactics were ruthless, their armies seemingly unstoppable. In 1257, Hulagu Khan turned his attention to the Abbasid Caliphate. He sent an ultimatum to Caliph Al-Mustasim, demanding his submission and the dismantling of Baghdad's defenses. Al-Mustasim, isolated and advised by inept viziers, foolishly refused. He believed Baghdad's walls, reinforced by centuries of faith and its immense population, were impregnable. He severely underestimated the Mongol threat, reportedly sending back a dismissive reply that infuriated Hulagu. The stage was set for tragedy. In January 1258, Hulagu Khan, leading an army estimated between 150,000 to 200,000 elite Mongol, Turkish, and Persian forces, marched on Baghdad. He employed sophisticated siege warfare techniques, including powerful trebuchets and reportedly early gunpowder weapons from China. The Mongols even diverted the Tigris River, threatening to flood the city and undermine its foundations. Baghdad's defenses, though strong, were outdated and undermanned. The caliph had neglected his army, relying instead on his city's spiritual authority and reputation. For days, the city endured a relentless bombardment. The outer walls were breached, and a desperate counterattack by the caliph's forces was brutally repelled. The Mongols quickly established control over strategic points. On February 10, 1258, the city surrendered, but the Mongols were not known for mercy. Hulagu Khan waited for 3 days outside the walls, preparing his troops for the ensuing sack. Then the gates swung open. What followed was one of the most brutal and catastrophic events in human history. For 7 days, the Mongol Horde unleashed its fury upon Baghdad. The city, once a symbol of peace and knowledge, was systematically ransacked. Buildings were razed, mosques and palaces burned, and its people, estimated to be hundreds of thousands, were massacred indiscriminately. Estimates of the death toll vary wildly, from 200,000 to over 1 million, but all accounts speak of unimaginable carnage. The intellectual treasures of Baghdad suffered an even more profound fate. The House of Wisdom, the greatest library in the world, with its unparalleled collection of manuscripts, charts, and scientific instruments, was utterly destroyed. Books containing centuries of accumulated knowledge, invaluable translations, and original research were thrown into the Tigris River. It is said that the river ran black with ink from the dissolved manuscripts and red with the blood of the scholars and citizens. The Caliph Al-Mustasim himself was captured. He was forced to watch the destruction of his city and the massacre of his people. According to legend, Hulagu mocked him for his miserliness, saying, "You are the lord of the world, why did you not give me more food?" After days of torment, Al-Mustasim was wrapped in a carpet and trampled to death by horses, to avoid spilling royal blood on the earth, a Mongol custom. The Abbasid Caliphate, which had endured for over 5 centuries, was extinguished. The fall of Baghdad marked a catastrophic turning point. It wasn't just the end of a dynasty, it was the end of an era for Islamic civilization, which plunged into a period of decline. The intellectual light that had shone so brightly for centuries was dimmed, and the flow of knowledge that had enriched the world was severely disrupted. The destruction of irrigation systems also led to widespread agricultural collapse in Mesopotamia, transforming fertile lands into barren plains. Following the Mongol conquest, Baghdad endured further sieges and conquests. It became part of the Ilkhanate, a Mongol successor state, then passed to the Jalayirids. In the 15th and 16th centuries, it was a battleground between the burgeoning Ottoman Empire and the Safavid Empire of Persia, changing hands multiple times. The Ottoman Sultan Sulayman the Magnificent, Sulayman the Magnificent, conquered Baghdad in 1534, bringing it under long periods of Ottoman rule, though it remained a contested territory. Baghdad, though often rebuilt, never fully regained its former imperial status or its unparalleled intellectual dominance. It served as an important provincial capital, strategically vital for trade and pilgrimage routes, but the Golden Age was over. The city experienced fluctuations in prosperity and stability, often suffering from the effects of repeated conflicts, such as the siege by Nader Shah of Persia in 1733, which caused immense suffering. 5. Impact and legacy. The impact of Baghdad's Golden Age and its subsequent fall reverberated across the globe. Before the Mongol destruction, Baghdad was an indispensable bridge, connecting the ancient world to the modern. The systematic translation movement preserved vast amounts of Greek, Roman, and Persian philosophical and scientific texts. Without Baghdad, much of this classical knowledge might have been lost forever to humanity. The original contributions made by scholars in Baghdad laid the groundwork for many modern scientific disciplines. Fields like algebra, optics, medicine, and astronomy were not just preserved but significantly advanced. Figures like Al-Khwarizmi's work on algorithms and Ibn Sina's medical canon provided crucial foundations for the later European Renaissance and the scientific revolution. The knowledge that flowed from Baghdad to Europe helped pull the continent out of its own dark ages. The Mongol sack, however, marked a catastrophic intellectual and cultural setback. While some scholars and texts survived, the institutional destruction was immense. The loss of Baghdad's libraries meant that vast amounts of knowledge were gone permanently. It was a stark reminder of how military conquest and violence can obliterate centuries of cultural achievement and profoundly alter the course of history, leaving wounds that take generations to heal. Despite the profound destruction, Baghdad demonstrated remarkable resilience. Under subsequent rulers, including the Ottomans, the city was gradually rebuilt, its population slowly recovering. It remained a significant regional center, a hub for trade and administration, adapting to new political realities. The city's enduring cultural memory, its association with learning and grandeur, persisted through centuries of turmoil. Today, modern Baghdad is a sprawling metropolis of millions, a vibrant city grappling with the weight of its millennia-old past and the scars of more recent conflicts. While the physical remnants of its Abbasid Golden Age are scarce, due to repeated destruction, the imperatives of modern urban development, and the sheer passage of time, some elements offer glimpses into its glorious past. The Tigris River remains a constant, flowing through the city as it did for millennia, a silent witness to every triumph and tragedy. Architectural fragments, subtle echoes in street patterns, and the very spirit of intellectual curiosity that once defined the city continue to resonate. Modern Baghdad displays a blend of historical remnants and contemporary architectural styles, a living palimpsest of different eras. The most tangible links to Baghdad's past are often found in its cultural memory, its people, and the ongoing archaeological efforts in the wider Mesopotamian region. The stories of 1001 Nights still associate Baghdad with wonder and learning. And despite challenges, Efforts are ongoing to protect and study the archaeological heritage, striving to reconnect with its past glory as a vital center of culture. 6. Reflections and lessons. Baghdad's epic journey offers profound reflections on the human condition and the trajectory of civilizations. It teaches us about the extraordinary power of knowledge and cultural synthesis. The Abbasid commitment to collecting, translating, and expanding wisdom created an unparalleled intellectual flowering that shaped the world. This era stands as a testament to the idea that open exchange of ideas, regardless of origin, fuels progress and prosperity. But Baghdad also serves as a stark, sobering reminder of the fragility of civilization. Even the most powerful and enlightened societies can be brought to their knees by unchecked violence and human folly. The Mongol sack obliterated not just a city, but an irreplaceable repository of human achievement, plunging a significant portion of the world into a dark age. It underscores the critical importance of protecting cultural heritage and fostering peace. Yet in its enduring spirit, Baghdad offers lessons in resilience and continuity. Despite repeated destruction and conquest, the city has, at various points, demonstrated a remarkable capacity for survival and rebuilding. Its people have clung to their cultural identity and the memory of its glorious past, ensuring that Baghdad's story continues to be written, layer by painful, beautiful layer. For any modern visitor, understanding Baghdad means seeing it not just as a city, but as a palimpsest of history. The modern streets and structures often overlay or incorporate remnants of ancient civilizations, Ottoman-era buildings, and the scars of recent conflicts. The Tigris River remains a constant, a geographical and symbolic anchor, silently witnessing the city's evolution through millennia. To truly appreciate Baghdad, you must engage with its intellectual legacy. Imagine the bustling house of wisdom, the debates of philosophers, the discoveries of scientists. While physical ruins from the Abbasid peak are rare, the ideas and knowledge that originated or were preserved there continue to resonate in global scholarship and culture, connecting you to the very foundations of modern thought. A visit, when travel advisories permit, is not just sightseeing, but a profound historical immersion. 7. Outro. Baghdad's journey is an epic of grand aspirations, intellectual brilliance, and unimaginable devastation. It's a city that held the torch of human knowledge for centuries, illuminating a path for the world, only to see that light almost extinguished by the fires of war. Its story reminds us that progress is not linear, and that the achievements of civilization, however magnificent, are always fragile. But it also reminds us of the enduring power of the human spirit. Despite everything it has endured, Baghdad continues to live, to adapt, to rebuild, and to remember. It stands as a powerful testament to the resilience of culture, the persistence of memory, and the unbreakable human drive to create, to learn, and to survive. If Baghdad's incredible saga has moved you, if it sparked a desire to delve deeper into its layers of history, then this journey is far from over. What aspect of Baghdad's history do you find most compelling? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Did you know about the sheer scale of the House of Wisdom or the impact of the Mongol sack? Your insights fuel our shared exploration of history. Don't forget to like this video if you found Baghdad's story captivating, and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the heart of history's most pivotal moments. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep remembering the extraordinary stories that shape our world. Final word count 4890 words.